Hello, how you doing, guys? It's
Welcome
us
back.
again, Mehmet and Lego.
Hi.
And today, I can't.
Are we dying?
I today. Okay, today we're going to speak about the music industry, alright? So, Lego, what you want to speak about the music industry about?
For those people that didn't understand him, we will be talking about the music industry. No, we both are quasi-musicians.
Good description, yeah.
We play the guitar.
Barely.
Barely. I'll play the drums. Barely. Well, without a bear, but still. But we think that the current state of the music industry successfully managed to ruin a generation. In what way? Well, you can see that throughout the years, the popular songs and the theme of them has drastically changed. Although even in the past we had songs where they talked about sexual topics, where they talked about using alcohol, narcotics, or just crime, let's say it. The difference is, in the past, people listened to the music just because they liked the music. However, today, a lot of younger people, the new generations, try to mimic the things that are sang in the songs. And there was this video, it was like a horrible meme of a rapper who sings about drugs, sings about women, about alcohol, about like being a gangbanger and everything. And at the end he was like, "Oh no, I don't do any of that. It's just for the song." And even though it's a meme, it's really the reality of most popular musicians nowadays. Because most of them just try to portray themselves as dangerous people, try to portray themselves as druggies, or it's
Gotta do his druggies, dude!
it's Sassy the Sasquatch, watch it, drugga.
Jesus!
Watch it, drugga. But no.
Jesus, you boomer.
Yeah, like, they try to portray themselves as these dangerous people. Not that recent, but recently, there was this whole insurgence of those Lils and those Youngs. And let's be honest, can you separate them? Like, if it comes on the radio, do you know which Lil or which Young it is? They all sound the same. They all sing about the same things.
They all sound silly. I mean, you can separate them quite easily, but it's silly.
No, I mean, yeah, of course you can separate them.
It's, you can separate it, but it isn't distinct.
Yeah.
That's all the fight.
Yeah.
You can't distinguish between one of them. You can separate them easily, but it all sounds the fucking same.
And I'm gonna admit something that I'm not proud of. I love Lil Pump's music. Ironically. Because I know he didn't go to fucking Harvard. And everything he sings about, he doesn't do all of that, let's be fucking, except for the drugs maybe, because he does the drugs. What the hell are you doing?
Looking for a rapper.
Oh,
continue
XXX?
speaking. No,
Okay.
not a dude.
But also we have people like Tekashi, who was very popular in the media. And we've all heard at least one of his songs playing on the radio, right? He's like, "Oh, blah blah blah, I'm gonna shoot you, blah blah blah." Like, okay? And then we saw what happened with him, and how it turned out he's not the guy he sings that he is. But those like younger people as if we're fucking boomers, but
Wait, you aren't? So it's just me, huh?
But the younger generations, they do not separate music and songs from the person singing them. they think that, oh, if I like this song, I have to be like that. But we saw that most singers who sing about that stuff, they're nothing like that in real life. They're afraid to do the stuff they sing about. If something like that happens, they're the first one to snitch. And personally, I think that ruins the generation, because when we grew up, we had amazing rock stars, hip hop artists. We had so many people. I'm just taking these two because they're the most prevalent about singing about this stuff.
We grew up with Linkin Park and System of a Down. Like, that was a very high bar that was set for us.
But we also grew up with Wu-Tang. We also grew up with a lot of rap. We also grew up with Lemmy Kilmister, who's, let's be honest, he did the shit he was singing about.
Yeah.
However, he did not tell his listeners, his fans, to do the same thing. He's just, this is my story and I'm gonna sing it. And the problem is today, singers and artists, musicians, they're like, oh no, this is my story. Until you pull up the facts. And then you're like, dude, this is literally nothing. Like, everything you do is complete opposite of what you're singing about. However, the fans nowadays, they try to be like the artists, not knowing that, and excuse me for the word I'm gonna say, the artists, most of them, I'm not saying all of them, there are still some hardcore fucking artists who really make songs about what they live, what they've lived through, how they think the society should be. But most of them, especially the most popular ones, they're fucking cucks. They're cucks. Do you have...
No, I can't say anything.
Yeah, I see that you're agreeing.
That's it. Like,
because, I'm sorry, I just have to put this out there. The thing is, we grew up with those musicians and we idolized them. I'm not saying we didn't. They also sang about drugs, money, guns, women, blah blah blah. But
they included words in their songs.
That also. But we just perceived it as them telling their story. Now, especially rappers, they're portraying their fan fiction. Yeah. They're literally just singing about their fan fiction.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add?
I'm just gonna go on a tangent, but I have a little bit of a laugh before that. What I want to mention is it ties a bit into the previous video we did about dumbing down. Nowhere is this more apparent than rap as a genre.
Yeah.
Because rap as a genre overtook rock and roll as the most popular genre a couple of years ago. But here's the thing. Rap was always rhythm and poetry.
Yeah.
Nowadays, much more emphasis is given on the rhythm than the poetry. And remember an interview, I think it was Nas. He did
Lil Nas?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Nas.
Nas.
Okay.
No, Nas.
Okay. Yeah, that's what.
And all that. I think it was 2011 or 12, where he basically said that he kind of adapted a new era of lyric writing because it isn't what he does. Yeah. When you look at Nas's lyrics, it's a masterpiece through and through. You can see he's a master of his craft because he dedicated so much time to it. And nowadays, it's usually just a couple of dumb phrases, repeat the chorus, couple of dumb phrases, repeat the chorus. It barely tells a story. It barely presents an experience. So much so that the person I was Googling, I forgot his name, but it was Playboi Carti.
Okay.
Now, I was Googling Playboi Carti because recently there was leaks from the studio where he was basically recording the vocals for his latest album. And people were losing their minds because he isn't even speaking anything. He's just making sounds. And everyone's roasting his ass for basically having an attack. Before, At least you repeat a couple of words. Now, I don't know if you saw the video. He's in a completely dark room with eyeglasses, just going. And that's how Playboy Cardi sounds now. And when that album comes out, people will be like, "Oh, it's the best thing in rap." How could we have fallen so much? How did we come from Wu-Tang? You mentioned it. How did we come from Delta Funky Homo Sapien? How did we come from A$AP Rock, from all these masters? The diss!
I mean, let's be honest, Kanye started that thing with Lift Yourself was the song? Skippity boop. A skippity whippity poop. But he was making fun of them.
Yeah, Kanye's a genius though. These guys are taking it seriously.
I totally agree with you. And personally, I have a huge problem when someone says, "Oh, Cardi B, she's the best female rapper. Oh, Nicki Minaj." Have you heard female rappers from the 90s and early 20s?
The Lady of Rage. Such an underrated artist.
Missy.
Exactly.
Fucking Missy.
Exactly.
Like, there are, and again, this is all down to preferences, but when it comes to music, you should also try to see the background of the person. If they have truly been through the things that they're singing about, because like you said, rap is basically rhythm and poetry. That's about it. And poetry comes from feelings you have. Today, rap, like you said, it's just about the rhythm, and everything else can be nonsense. And that's why I know you've seen Fire in the Booth. Like, it's a meme, we've all heard Man's Not Hot, and Unknown P, I think was his name. Like, they are giving such a good portrayal of how dumbed down, like you said, back to the previous video, how dumbed down the music industry has become, and how much it affects a whole generation. Like it or not, growing up, music plays a crucial role of building your personality.
Yeah.
Because it's the first thing where you find yourself in. You might have been a metalhead, you might have been a rockhead? Rocker, yeah.
Rock.
Why the fuck would I think rockhead? Rocker. You might have been a rapper, you might have been a fucking blues fan, a jazz fan, but you base your personality off of that. And nowadays, the most popular musicians are literally, like you're saying, like just listen to Yodel at that point.
Yeah.
It's much better, you know. And that's how I personally think that the music industry is completely destroying a whole generation, because it's ruining the foundation of personality building.
Yeah. I want to add one more thing before we wrap it up. Interesting that we brought this topic up today, because just yesterday I saw an interview with Lauryn Hill that really actually touched me. She was basically speaking why she hasn't released any new music after her Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album. And she basically summed it down to, because I haven't had any experiences to put into song.
Yeah.
The reason the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is such a good album and so heartfelt is because that's a product of her experiences. Even in an interview, she says, if you haven't experienced anything in the meanwhile, you can't put it a song. And she said in the interview, yes, I have recorded a new song since then, during the studio, but they aren't experiences. Because my life up until between the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and then was just touring, recording. She didn't have any time to experience anything new, to put it into song, to put part of her soul into it. So that's why she isn't releasing anything. And that's very important. It's a problem with the, not just music industry, but the whole creative industry nowadays, where creativity has become a profession. Not that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But before, it was much more understanding that, well, sometimes you could be creative. Sometimes you have writer's block. Sometimes it'd be months or years before you create a piece of art. And that was accepted. Nowadays, there's just deadlines, there are expectations everywhere.
And ghostwriters.
And ghostwriters, exactly. nowadays production has taken the principal spot on the pedestal. Creativity is just the byproduct in the final product. You don't even need to be creative to have a creative product at the end. And that's one of the biggest problems with the music industry nowadays.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think?
Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.